2024 is going to be an amazing year. I'm so excited. Here's the plan.
Sailing throughout Antigua and Barbuda for the entire month of January, then sailing north up to St. Martin, where I'll then turn west and sail directly downwind for the entire month of March for the Virgin Islands and then in Puerto Rico, where I'll continue on for the month of April in Dominican Republic before sailing north again throughout the months of May, June, July, and August, going throughout the Bahamas. After that, I'll sail west again towards the Florida Keys for the month of September and October, and then finally sailing south to Cuba for the months of November and December.
Okay, so that's just the where. Now here's what I plan to do in 2024.
Right now, and for the entire month of January, I plan to sail and cruise around the entire island of Antigua, as well as a little bit over in Barbuda. Antigua is an awesome place for kiteboarding, as well as it has a ton of protected anchorages, so I can finally get some much needed editing done. There's so much epic content I need to get out, and this will give me the place to do it, as well as give me great places to work on kiteboarding so I can progress to some even better, bigger tricks. From there, I'll sail north to St. Martin, probably stopping in St. Bartholomew's along the way, but then once I'm back in St. Martin, it'll be like good old times. I've got a lot of friends there, there's plenty of salsa dancing, great food both on the French and Dutch sides of the island, as well as there's the largest store for Island Waterworld, a great place so I can get all the supplies I need to repair, refit my boat, and get ready to get back out there. Out of any place I've ever sailed to, I'd say St. Martin is unique, that has really and truly a little bit of everything. If you want to be a little further away from people, there's islands you can go out to. If you want to go do some snorkeling, it actually has really good snorkeling. All in all, St. Martin is an amazing place, and I'm excited to go back there. After that, things are going to get a lot more fun. Sailing from St. Martin down throughout the Virgin Islands and into Puerto Rico. Now the thing about St. Martin is it sits about as far east as you can go, so as you go to sail back west, you get to sail directly downwind, DDW. This is the exact opposite of what I had to do to get here, and sailing into the wind, as you can imagine, isn't great, but sailing dead downwind is so much fun. This will probably go by faster than I wanted to, but either way, I'm really looking forward to just waking up, setting the sails, and knowing that I can always go where I want to, and the seas will seem that much calmer because I'll be going with the waves. Really excited for that, and honestly, more excited for that than the Virgin Islands themselves. My way up here, I really didn't have that much fun in the Virgin Islands. I found it just to be a little too crowded and not really enough wild stuff going on, so I decided to go through pretty quick. I may or may not stop, I'm not really too worried about it. More so I'm focused on Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico is such a cool place, I really wish I'd had more time to explore on my way east, but unfortunately I caught some winds that I absolutely needed to and decided to take that opportunity to sail out. This time back, I've got the entire island of Puerto Rico to explore. I'm really excited for that. Next, I'll sail across the Mona Passage one more time for the entire month of April spent in the Dominican Republic. This time I plan to go back to Samana Bay and explore some places that I had missed. In particular, a few national parks that you'll see later on really are unique. They look like they're something out of Thailand. Inland as well, there's a lot to explore on motorcycle for waterfalls and other cool things. The Dominican Republic doesn't get a great rap for sailing and cruising because you really can't go to too many places. You're kind of restricted of where they'll allow you to bring your boat to. But my favorite way is to go there, dock the boat, and then go explore inland. Like I said, on motorcycle, it's just a ton of fun. I love the DR, and I'm excited to do that, as well then sail up around the Dominican Republic, along the north coast, maybe stopping in a few new places, maybe even going out to the Silver Bank, but definitely stopping back in Lupron. Lupron is a really big cruiser hub. I love the community they have there, a ton of great food. I even did some kiteboarding while I was there. There's just a lot going on, so I'm really excited to get back to that. Next, heading out of Lupron, I'll be heading northwest to the Bahamas, most likely going to Great Antigua, and I really want to go to these places because they're so off-grid, because I probably won't ever get another chance ever again. And really the reason I'm going back to the Bahamas, the spearfishing. I miss spearfishing so much. It's really what I live for on the boat. It's really the whole reason why I got the boat. The Caribbean's been fun, but not being able to spearfish has been a real drag, so I'm really excited to get back to that, as well as see other cruisers throughout the Bahamas. Meeting cruisers in the Caribbean has been fun, but there isn't that same sort of connection and community. And I think a lot of it has to do with just how remote places in the Bahamas are, versus the Caribbean has quite a bit more going on, so I think people explore more inland in the Caribbean, versus the Bahamas is just a sailor's paradise. I'll most likely be in the Bahamas entirely for May, June, July, and even August. This gives me plenty of time to go back to many places I've loved, as well as try some new places. There's some places I love to go shark diving that I can't wait to get back to, as well as who knows what else I'll find while I'm there. Either way, the Bahamas has hands down been my most favorite place to sail and cruise. That's why I'm going back just one last time. Sailing west to leave the Bahamas will be interesting. I'm hoping to go south below Andros, making my way over to the Florida Keys. Along that route, I'll probably be going through Key Sal. It's a really interesting remote area between Cuba, the Bahamas, and Florida. This area is known to be incredibly fishy, and who knows what else I'll see out there. I'll probably spend just a few nights there and then continue on to the Florida Keys. I have a couple reasons for stopping in the Florida Keys. First off, it'd just be nice to be back in the US for a little bit, but mainly I'll be there for September and October, 2 big hurricane season months. This way I'll be able to dock or most likely put my boat on a mooring ball and probably be in Marathon, a place I've been before that has a great cruiser community. It's very tight-knit, everyone helps everyone. It's something I really miss. As well, while I'm there, I'll be able to refit anything that I've been breaking along the way, which I've already got a little bit of a list of anything else I don't get fixed while I'm in St. Martin at Island Water World. The great thing about being in the US is a supply chain that goes forever. It'll be nice to be able to order Amazon packages again. And then finally sailing south down to Cuba. Cuba is a place I've wanted to sail to since I first got my boat. Inspired by other sailors I had seen before me that had gone there, it seems like a truly unique place. Now, I'm aware it's going to be a little bit difficult to cruise, just considering, honestly, international laws and such, so that'll have to be dealt with later. But as well, the north coast of Cuba isn't a place that's great for cruising. In fact, from what I hear, you're basically not allowed to leave the marinas there. That's fine by me because I'm planning on going to the south coast. The south coast looks a lot like the Bahamas as far as how wild it is, but it's going to be different for, I'm sure, a number of reasons. Really, it's a place that doesn't get explored much and hardly ever talked about. I should be able to spearfish down there, though I'll be double checking with local laws and regulations. And that again is really going to be a difficult part of this trip, figuring out the local laws of Cuba, as it is, well, just to put it mildly, a very unique place in the world. Hopefully the laws of man won't be too much of a problem. I can get on with what I really enjoy doing. Spearfishing, exploring nature, free diving, maybe even a little bit of kiteboarding. It's a huge area that I'm looking to explore, and I really don't know too much more about it. I'll be depending largely on other sailors that have gone there before, connecting with them and getting their best advice on where to go next. Not only that, but the south coast of Cuba puts me into a unique place heading into 2025 for where I'll be sailing to then. Some of this route I've sailed before. Many places will be new for me. I'll face challenges, conflict, adversity, and failure, often alone. I'll have no choice but to adapt and overcome my circumstances, to rise up and meet the challenges head on. It wasn't easy deciding where I wanted to sail next, but I learned a lot this past year. 2023 was filled to the brim with excitement, adventure, high hopes, big letdowns, hardships, and rewards. Going into 2024, I only plan to keep going bigger and better than ever before. Just maybe a little bit wiser. I've learned 5 important lessons this past year while sailing throughout the Caribbean. Each helped me to understand what kind of sailor I want to be and what kind of lifestyle I want to live. Number 1, I hate sailing upwind. Yeah, call me a fair weather sailor, I really don't care, but I'm just sick of sailing upwind. Going from the Bahamas all the way down through Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, up through the Virgin Islands till St. Martin was all nothing but upwind, and honestly, I'm just sick of it. Bashing into waves, going super slow, boat being heeled over all the times, just getting wet and soaked from sea spray. What's the point, huh? If I can sail downwind, honestly, I'd rather be doing that. Pretty much no matter which way I go for the next 6 months, I'll be able to enjoy some downwind sailing, but the way I'm planning on going will prevent me from doing too much more upwind sailing after that. This will give me a chance to look for better weather windows, to enjoy my time in the ocean rather than holding on for dear life. As well, also I'll get there faster. It's just an all-around more enjoyable way to go. The trade winds blowing straight out of the east will really help push me along throughout this entire journey. And as you'll see at the end of this video, if you stick around, my final plan of where I intend on bringing the boat over the next 5 years. Number 2, I hate populated places. It's true, I'm starting to like people less and like dogs more. Not quite ready to get a dog, but I am ready to sail further away from civilization. The Bahamas, although a place frequent for sailors, is really great because you can be so far away from anyone else. I love the Caribbean, the food has been really good, especially and particularly in some of the French countries. But you know what's not great? Sitting down for lunch and then somebody sits 2 inches behind you and lights up a cigarette. True story, and there was literally nobody else in the restaurant and they picked their seat after us. So little things like that I can brush off, but after a while I have to ask myself, why am I brushing it off? I have a boat that can literally go anywhere, it's fully self-sufficient, and really what's the point of being around civilization for more than a quick stop? I want to go experience nature. Out in untouched nature is really where my boat belongs. I don't have a whole bunch of amenities on the boat, so really this boat is meant to be lived out of, and that's the whole purpose why I got it and have refit it the way I have. This is supposed to be my little exploratory vessel that brings me to far off places so I can be spearfishing, diving with whales, dolphins, sea turtles, you name it. I do like exploring inland, but I've decided that's a little bit better to do a different way. Number 3, take breaks. I can break this up into 2 different categories. The first one would be that I intend on sailing a good distance, finding the best spot, and then staying there for weeks, sometimes even an entire month. Honestly, that's the best way to really get down and explore some of these areas. The other way I can describe taking a break is what I did this last summer, where I left my sailboat, put it into a dockyard, went up to see my family back in upstate New York, went to Tenerife, went to northern Spain, and I absolutely loved having that break from boat life. I intend on doing that much more in this coming year. Number 4, solo sailing and finding kindred spirits. So I absolutely love solo sailing. It's one of my true passions, really being out there alone, just you, the ocean, and nature. It's an incredible feeling. The peace and quiet is unmatched. But I also love bringing people along to enjoy the journey. In years prior, I've taken on crew members that had no experience, and I would teach them all the basics throughout the entire boat. Honestly, that's been a lot of fun, but what I want to focus on this next year is finding other people that have similar interests to mine and skills that they can offer. A major plan of mine this coming year is to be offering my boat as a sort of collaboration space. Reaching out to other content creators in particular that have interesting skills or experiences that they could share with me. My boat becoming a vessel for exchanging experiences and ideas. Something I really want to pursue, and I think finding people out there that are similar to me and inviting them to the boat will be a great way to do it. So stay tuned for this next year to see who ends up coming on the boat and joining this adventure. And number 5, and by far the most important one on this list, I miss spearfishing. Honestly, I don't think I've really done any spearfishing throughout my entire time in the Caribbean here. Why? Because it's illegal pretty much everywhere, and to be honest, not a lot of fish. I mean, none of the reefs here look nearly as vibrant as say the Bahamas or places I've been to in Australia, and the Caribbean is great and all. It's a fun place to sail once you're actually on the chain going north and south. The trade winds make day sails a lot of fun, but I really miss having an entire open ocean to go explore, never knowing what I'm going to see or especially what I'm going to catch for dinner. Not only that, if you look at the amount of money that I'm probably saving by catching my own fish as opposed to spending money for food, food prices are insanely expensive everywhere in the world, but even more so in remote places like the Caribbean where they have to import all the food. Nothing is made on island. As well as spearfishing, I like to call it ocean harvesting, where I might be hand catching lobsters or crabs, slipper lobsters. Basically, if it's tasty and lives in the ocean, I'm going to sustainably harvest it and make it for dinner. Now that you have a good idea of what I'm planning in 2024, here's a sneak peek at my ultimate travel plans for the next 5 years. Of course, this video will not accurately reflect how long I spend in each place, only where I intend on going. After Cuba, my plan is to head west towards the Yucatan Peninsula and Isla Mujeres, Mexico, a favorite place for sailors. I plan on heading down a little bit of Central America, as far down as Belize, because it has some of the most beautiful diving in the world. This will be a little bit more of a detour, but then I'll head back up and get ready to cross the Gulf of Mexico. This will be my longest sail to date, taking me about 5 days to cross the Gulf of Mexico. From there, I'll go to Corpus Christi, Texas. I'll put my sailboat onto a trailer to have it driven across the US. So you may be wondering why on earth I'd be putting my boat on a trailer when I could just sail through the Panama Canal. Because the winds and currents of the Pacific blow directly from the north down south, all along the west coast of the US, and I don't feel like going straight into the wind. The amount of money this will cost me as well as time will be far easier than going through the Panama Canal and sailing up north. From every other sailor I've talked to, they said they would never want to do it again. The main goal of all this for me is to get all the way up to Seattle, because from there I don't need to have my boat out in the open ocean. I can explore all the fjordlands of British Columbia up into Southeast Alaska. This will be a completely different style of sailing for me, but it's something I'm really looking forward to. I've spearfished throughout Southeast Alaska once before, and it was really what drove me to get my sailboat, so I'd be so excited to go back. My plan right now is to only go as far north as Glacier National Park, but we'll see what that turns into once I finally get up there. Either way, sailing back down the west coast will be an absolute dream. Going with the waves, currents, and wind, it'll be a great sail. Then as I go down the west coast of the US, the plan is kind of up in the air, stopping at any major cities I want to along the way. I know the west coast of the US very well after spearfishing it for many years, and I also know there's not nearly as many places to bring your boat into compared to the east coast of the US, which is why I bought Adventure Born on the east coast. But now will be a fun time to go back to my roots, back to what got me into all of this, especially stopping in Santa Cruz, California, and then as I go further south, spending time in the Southern California islands. I'll then sail into Baja, Mexico. This is where the spearfishing will get amazing. Baja has some of the best spearfishing in the world. Having spearfished both the Pacific and Sea of Cortez side, with a sailboat I know I can go even further than before. But then there's so many places along the Pacific side of Baja I can't wait to explore. Rounding Cabo San Lucas, I'll be up into the Sea of Cortez. There's infinite places to cruise, spearfish, and kiteboard throughout the Sea of Cortez. Many sailors have sailed here with the intention of going on, but never left because it's just too nice. This will probably take me 3 to 5 years to accomplish, and there's going to be who knows how many struggles and journeys along the way, but I'll be excited when I finally reach back down to my destination of La Paz, ready to decide what I'll want to do next with my life. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I plan on taking breaks. I don't plan on sailing and traveling this 24/7 because if I found that really burns me out. I'm hopeful of taking flights to other places around the world, Southeast Asia, South America, other places to get a different feel of life, travel, and adventure. We'll see where that takes me. I also have to mention that this is really just all my best guess. Who knows what's going to happen, and who knows what things, good or bad, are going to divert my path to a different way. And the best part is, I'm completely open to that. Because I know that plans change, and that's what makes it an adventure. Embracing the unknown, because who knows what this will all look like in the end. It probably won't be a neat little app cartoon depiction. What a predictable and boring trip that would be. I'm excited for the unexpected. I'm excited for this adventure. And I hope you choose to be part of these coming adventures. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. I hope you feel inspired to begin adventures of your own. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. For an exclusive, in-depth look at this adventure lifestyle, and to further support my channel, become a member of my Patreon crew. Link in the description. I'll see you on the next adventure.